I came home to find my sister's entire family living in my house, eating my food, sleeping in my beds, like they'd always belonged there. I'm 27 years old, and I've spent my entire life as the understudy in a play where my older sister Anna was always the star. I didn't understand it as a kid. I just knew that when Anna wanted something, the universe bent itself backward to deliver. And when I wanted something, well, I could work for it. Let me paint you a picture of what growing up looked like. Anna's 10th birthday, a party with a rented pony, a three-tier cake from the fancy bakery downtown, and every girl in her grade invited. My 10th birthday, 12 kids from the neighborhood, a sheet cake from the grocery store bakery counter, and my mom telling me to be grateful for what you have. I was grateful. I didn't know any different yet. Anna got the Barbie dream house, the real one, with the elevator and the pool. I got the knockoff from the discount store where the elevator didn't work and the pool was just a pink plastic indent. You're so good at using your imagination, Mom would say, like my ability to pretend was a gift instead of a necessity. High school was more of the same. Anna was a cheerleader, got a car for her 16th birthday, a cute little Honda Civic with a bow on it, I kid you not, and had a wardrobe that could have stocked a small boutique. I worked weekends at a bookstore making $9 an hour, bought my clothes at thrift stores, and when I finally saved enough for a beat-up Toyota with 150,000 miles on it, my dad said, "Good for you, kiddo." Character building. Character. That was always the word they used for me. Anna had potential. I had character. College was where it really crystallized, though. Where I really understood that I wasn't just second fiddle. I was the unpaid labor that made Anna's symphony possible. Anna got into her dream school, a beautiful private university 3 states away. My parents paid for everything. Tuition, room and board, spending money, a meal plan, textbooks, the works. She called home once a month, mostly to ask for more money, and they'd send it with heart emojis in the text. I got accepted to a decent state university 40 minutes from home. I was proud. I'd worked hard, maintained a 3.8 GPA while working part-time. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd help me too. Not with everything, but something. Instead, they sat me down at the kitchen table and told me that if I wanted to live at home and commute, I'd need to pay rent. $400 a month, plus I'd be responsible for my own groceries, gas, and obviously tuition. I was 18 years old making $9 an hour shelving books and recommending romance novels to lonely housewives. It's about teaching you responsibility, my dad said, like Anna didn't need to learn the same lesson. Like responsibility was only a requirement for one daughter. I paid it. Every month. I worked 30 hours a week on top of a full-course load. I ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches while Anna posted Instagram photos of sushi dates and beach trips. I graduated with a 3.9 in computer science. My parents took me to Olive Garden and ordered lasagna. No party. No cake with my name on it. Just unlimited breadsticks and my mom saying, "We're so proud you didn't drop out." The bar was so low for me it was practically underground. I moved out 3 months after graduation. I had a job offer at a tech company an hour away, and I found a tiny studio apartment that smelled faintly of cigarettes and had a radiator that clanked like a ghost was trapped inside it. But it was mine. My name on the lease. My key. My space where nobody could tell me I owed them rent for existing. I didn't tell my family I was moving until the day before. My mom cried like I was abandoning them. Anna didn't even respond to my text. For the next few years, I kept my head down. I worked, I saved, I learned to cook things that weren't pasta, and I built a life that didn't revolve around being compared to my sister. I saw my family for holidays, obligatory appearances where I smiled and nodded while Anna talked about her kids and her husband Josh and their plans to renovate their kitchen. I'd bring wine and leave early. And then I decided I wanted to buy a house. Not a mansion. Not some sprawling estate. Just a little place that was mine. Somewhere I could paint the walls whatever color I wanted and plant tomatoes in the backyard and not hear my upstairs neighbor's footsteps at 2 a.m. I started looking quietly, scrolling through listings late at night, saving my favorites in a private folder. I didn't tell my family. And that wasn't an accident. Because here's what I'd learned. Every good thing in my life became a negotiation. Every achievement was an opportunity for someone else to benefit. I got a promotion? Can you help Anna with her resume? I bought a new car? Anna's minivan is making a weird noise. Maybe you could take a look? I existed, and somehow that meant I owed everyone a piece of whatever I earned. So I kept the house hunting quiet. I worked with a realtor I found online, did all my tours on my lunch breaks, and told exactly 0 people in my family what I was doing. But the universe, or maybe just small-town nosiness, had other plans. A woman I worked with, Sandra from accounting, was apparently best friends with my mom's hairdresser. And Sandra, sweet well-meaning Sandra, mentioned at a salon appointment that I was looking at houses. The hairdresser told my mom. My mom told Anna. And just like that, the feeding frenzy began. My phone started blowing up. Links to Zillow listings. 5-bedroom colonials. 6-bedroom Victorians. Houses with guest suites and finished basements and room for everyone. My mom sent me a listing for a place with 7 bedrooms and a message that said, "Plenty of space for family visits." Anna was less subtle. She sent me a house with a massive backyard and wrote, "The kids would love this. We could do Sunday dinners."
We.
Always we. I ignored them. Every single message, every link, every "just thinking of you" text that was actually about them. I found a house I loved, a small 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. It had original hardwood floors, a fireplace that actually worked, and a backyard just big enough for a garden and maybe a little patio set. It was perfect. It was mine. I made an offer. It was accepted. I signed papers and wired money and got keys, and I didn't say a single word to my family until it was done. I figured I'd tell them at Sunday dinner. Casual. Matter of fact. Just drop it into conversation like it was no big deal. I should have known better. We were sitting around my parents' dining table, pot roast and roasted vegetables, and the same Corningware dishes my mom had been using since 1987. Anna was bouncing her youngest on her knee. Josh was scrolling through his phone, and my parents were doing that thing where they pretended to care about my job but kept redirecting the conversation back to Anna's kids. Then Anna, right in the middle of my dad's story about his golf game, turned to me with this bright, excited smile and said, "So Mom showed me this amazing house. 5 bedrooms, huge yard. It's only 20 minutes from us. You'd love it." I took a sip of water. Actually, I already bought a house. The table went silent. Like, you could have heard a pin drop on the carpet in the next room silent. Anna blinked.
What?
I bought a house, I repeated. A 2-bedroom cottage. Closed on it last week. My mom's face went red. Not embarrassed red. Angry red. "You didn't tell us you were buying a house." I didn't realize I needed permission. That's not. She pressed her lips together. "We could have helped you look. We could have found something better." "I found something perfect," I said. "For me." Anna leaned forward, her voice doing that thing where it gets high-pitched and injured. "A 2-bedroom? How are we supposed to fit?" I met her eyes. "You're not." Josh looked up from his phone.
My dad set down his fork.
My mom looked like I'd just announced I was joining a cult. "What do you mean, we're not?" Anna's voice cracked. "We're family, and you have your own house," I said calmly. "This one is mine. But Sunday dinners, holidays, what if we want to visit? You can visit. For a few hours. Then you go back to your house." Anna's eyes filled with tears. Actual tears. "I can't believe you're being so selfish." I stood up, grabbed my purse. "I think I'm done here." My dad's voice followed me to the door. "You're really going to walk out over this?" I turned back. "I'm walking out because I'm tired of being treated like my life is community property." I left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry until I got to my car. For a few days, it was quiet. No texts. No calls. I thought maybe they'd accepted it. I was so wrong. Anna started posting on Facebook. Pictures of her kids crammed into one bedroom with the caption, "So blessed to have what we have, even if it's tight. Family is everything." Red heart, then another post. A photo of a cramped closet with, "When your sister buys a house, but there's no room for the people who love her." People I worked with started looking at me weird. A coworker asked, in this careful voice, if everything was okay with my family. Someone else mentioned seeing something on Facebook and trailed off when I glared at them. Then my mom showed up at my apartment with a pie. Apology pie, she called it. Apple crumb, my favorite. She hugged me and said she was sorry, that she understood, that she just wanted me to be happy. We sat on my couch and ate pie and talked about safe things, her garden, my new house, the weather. She asked to use the bathroom. I said yes. When she left, I felt lighter. Like maybe we could move past this. The next day, my spare key was missing. I tore my apartment apart looking for it. It had been on a hook by the door, on a little keychain shaped like a book, a gift for my first job at the bookstore. I kept my car key, my apartment key, and the spare key to my new house on it. It was gone. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I'd misplaced it, that my mom wouldn't. But deep down, I knew. 2 days later, I got a text from my neighbor at the new house, a sweet older woman named Margaret, who lived next door and had brought me cookies when I'd come by to measure for curtains. Saw a couple with some kids peeking in your windows last night. Everything okay? My stomach dropped. I called her immediately. They were there for about 20 minutes, Margaret said. I almost called the police, but then they left. I thought maybe you'd given them a key to check on something? No, I said. My voice sounded far away. I didn't. I got in my car and drove to the house. It was the middle of a workday. I'd taken a late lunch, told my boss I had a doctor's appointment. My hands shook on the steering wheel the whole drive. When I pulled up, there were 2 cars in my driveway. One was Anna's minivan. The other was a sedan I didn't recognize. Josh's, I'd find out later. I sat in my car for a full minute, staring at my own house, trying to process what I was seeing. Then I got out, walked up to my own front door, tried my key. It didn't work. They'd changed my locks. On my house. That I owned. I rang the doorbell. The doorbell on my own house. Anna answered. She was wearing an apron, my apron, the one with the sunflowers on it that I'd bought at a craft fair. She smiled like she was greeting a guest.
Oh, hey.
We were just getting settled. Behind her, I could see Josh on my couch. The kids were running around the living room. There were toys scattered across my hardwood floors. Moving boxes in my hallway. What are you doing here? My voice came out flat.
Shocked.
Anna laughed. Moving in. Mom gave us the key. We figured it'd be easier to just do it while you were at work, so we wouldn't be in your way. Surprise. I looked past her. My furniture had been moved. The couch was against a different wall. There was a high chair in my kitchen. My kitchen. You can't just move into my house. Don't be dramatic, Anna said. There's plenty of room. The kids can share the second bedroom, and you can sleep on the couch until we figure out. Get out. Her smile faltered. What?
Get out
Of
my house.
But I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Anna's eyes went wide. What are you doing? The dispatcher answered. 911. What's your emergency? I need to report a trespassing, I said, my voice shaking but clear. There are people in my home who broke in and refused to leave. You're insane, Anna shrieked.
Josh.
She's calling the cops. The dispatcher was asking for my address. I gave it. Anna was crying now, yelling at me, calling me selfish and cruel and heartless. The kids started crying. Josh appeared, his face red, demanding to know what my problem was. My problem, I said, my voice cold and steady, is that you broke into my house. The police arrived 12 minutes later. I showed them my deed, my ID, my documentation. Anna showed them the key my mother had given her, the key she'd stolen from my apartment. They explained to Anna and Josh that they needed to leave, that this was, in fact, trespassing, that I had every right to press charges. Anna sobbed.
She begged.
She said I was ruining her life, that she had nowhere else to go, that I was tearing the family apart. You have a house, I said. Go to it. They left. The kids were crying. Josh was swearing under his breath. Anna looked at me like I'd stabbed her. I watched them pack their boxes back into the minivan. I watched them drive away. Then I went inside my house, locked the door, and slid down the wall onto the floor. And I cried. Not because I felt guilty. Because I was so tired. I called a locksmith that same day. Had every lock changed. The next day, I had security cameras installed, front door, back door, driveway. I called a lawyer and had cease and desist letters sent to Anna, Josh, and my parents. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Anna launched a full-scale social media assault. Posts about how I'd called the police on her children. How I'd refused to help family in need. How I was selfish and cold-hearted and had forgotten where I came from. She tagged mutual friends, distant cousins, people I hadn't spoken to in years. My phone exploded. Messages from relatives I barely knew, telling me I should be ashamed. That family comes first. That I was breaking my mother's heart. My mom called crying. My dad called yelling. They showed up at my work, and tried to stage an intervention in the parking lot. They'd brought their preacher with them, a man I'd met twice in my life, who tried to talk to me about forgiveness and Christian values. I told them if they didn't leave, I'd call security. They left. Anna started showing up at my office building, just standing in the lobby, crying where people could see her. My coworkers started asking questions. My boss pulled me aside and asked if I needed help. I hired the lawyer again, filed for a restraining order against Anna, against Josh, against my parents. The hearing was surreal. Anna sobbed on the stand. My mother testified that I was mentally unwell and needed help. My father said I'd always been difficult. I showed the judge the texts, the Facebook posts, the security camera footage of Anna trying my door handles at 11 p.m. 3 nights in a row. I got the restraining order. All 3 of them. 200 yards. No contact. I blocked their numbers. Blocked them on social media. Blocked anyone who sent me messages about what a terrible person I was. I changed my last name legally. Filed the paperwork, paid the fee, became someone new. Someone they couldn't find on Google. And then I started living. I planted a garden in my backyard. Tomatoes and herbs and flowers I didn't know the names of yet. I adopted a cat from the shelter, a grumpy orange tabby who hated everyone but tolerated me. I painted my bedroom a soft blue-gray. I bought real art for my walls. I hosted a dinner party for my coworkers, people who'd stood by me through the chaos, and we ate pasta and drank wine and laughed until midnight. I stopped waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stopped checking over my shoulder. 6 months later, I got a message on LinkedIn from Anna. I shouldn't have opened it. I knew I shouldn't, but curiosity won. It was long, rambling. She said she was sorry, that she'd been wrong, that she'd been in therapy and realized how much she'd taken from me over the years. She said she understood if I never wanted to speak to her again, but that she needed me to know she was sorry. I read it 3 times. And then I deleted it. Not because I didn't believe her. Maybe she was sorry. Maybe therapy had worked some kind of miracle. But I didn't owe her forgiveness. I didn't owe her a response. I didn't owe her anything. I owed myself peace. It's been a year now. My garden is thriving. My cat has warmed up to me. He sleeps on my bed most nights. I got a promotion at work. I'm dating someone kind and thoughtful who doesn't think boundaries are optional. Sometimes people ask if I miss my family, if I regret cutting them off. I tell them the truth. I miss the family I wish I'd had. The one where I mattered as much as my sister. Where my accomplishments were celebrated instead of analyzed for how they could serve someone else. But that family never existed. And I'm not going to spend the rest of my life mourning something that was never real. I built my own family now. Friends who show up. A partner who respects my space. A cat who judges me silently but affectionately. A home that's mine, completely and totally mine, where no one can walk in and claim ownership of my life. They say blood is thicker than water, but boundaries are thicker than guilt. And I'm done bleeding myself dry for people who only saw me as a resource. I planted tomatoes in my garden last week, and for the first time in my life, I know I'm the only one who'll taste the fruit they bear.